Hello, today we're going to look at Exodus chapter 2. Now a man of the house of Levi married a Levite woman, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. And when she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the banks of the Nile. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. Then Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe, and her attendants were walking along the river bank. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her slave girl to get it. She opened it and saw the baby. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. "This is one of the Hebrew babies," she said. Then his sister asked Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" "Yes, go," she answered, and the girl went and got the baby's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you." So the woman took the baby and nursed him. When the child grew older, he took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." One day after Moses had grown up, he went out to where his own people were, and watched them at their hard labour. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. Glancing this way and that, and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. The next day he went out and saw 2 Hebrews fighting. He asked the one in the wrong, "Why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew?" The man said, "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid and thought, "What I did must have become known." When Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moses, but Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian. Where he sat down by a well. Now a priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and fill the troughs to water their father's flock. Some shepherds came along and drove them away, but Moses got up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. When the girls returned to Reuel, their father, he asked them, "Why have you returned so early today?" They answered, "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. He even drew water for us and watered the flock." "And where is he?" He asked his daughter. "Why did you leave him? Invite him to have something to eat." Moses agreed to stay with the man, who gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses in marriage. Zipporah gave birth to a son, and Moses named him Gershon, saying, "I have become an alien in a foreign land." During that whole period, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God. God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. So God looked on the Israelites, and he was concerned about them. Well, that's the end of our reading for today. That's the end of our reading for today. Exodus chapter 2. We're introduced here to Moses. Moses, as a small baby, was born as an Israelite baby, a Hebrew baby, and his mother was so concerned that he was going to be killed that she placed him in a little basket on the river Nile. He was picked up by one of Pharaoh's daughters and they cared for him and looked after him. But when there was a problem with the Egyptians, and Moses went and killed one of the Egyptians, Moses fled back to his own people, back to Midian. And there we see Moses. He finds a wife. He meets the father, Reuel, and he finds one of his daughters called Zipporah. And it's so good, the end of this passage, because we see how God cares about his people. We see the compassion that God has for his people. And it says that the Israelites groaned in their slavery and they cried out to God for help. But you know what always speaks to me? It's just this very, very short line here. God heard their cries. And I don't know what your circumstances or situations are, but when you cry out to God and you call out to God in your circumstance, God hears your call. He hears your cry, whether you cry as an individual or whether you cry for your family or your town or your city or your nation. And God remembered the covenant that he had made with Abraham, Isaac, and with Jacob. And God was concerned about the Israelites. And then we'll follow the Israelites through in the next chapters and throughout this whole book. Hope that's helpful, that reading, and hope you enjoyed it. And I hope some of it was able to speak to you and into your life situation. Hope you have a really good day. God bless you. And I'll speak to you again tomorrow.